I'm with Clerk Stephanie Scott of Adams Township, only not anymore because they've recalled both me, the supervisor, and Stephanie. But it's good to be back with you, Stephanie.
Good
We
to
haven't
see
had
you again.
as much time together since
No.
they've taken us out of office.
No.
We've been attending meetings and in addition, you've put in some FOIAs. Now, maybe you want to tell the people what the FOIAs are and then tell us what's happening.
Yes. I want to tell you real quickly why I did this FOIA, and what I'll maybe make a request is if you remember, I spoke to the Township Board, I think it was 2 or 3 meetings ago, in regards to the problems that I had in working with Patricia Williams as the Township Treasurer and the lack of transparency and stuff. Maybe we can reference that in the comments section so
Certainly.
people know. But that's really what was my launching board on this, because when I was in as clerk and treasurer have some very overlapping roles, but the most
Absolutely do.
important
Right.
thing that people need to understand is they're the other set of eyes. From a fiduciary standpoint, we're dealing with money, a lot of tax-paying money
Right.
coming in, money
Checks
going
and
out.
balances sort of thing.
Checks and balances. And from the beginning, I did not have that with Patricia. From the beginning, like I mentioned in the previous board address, she asked me to sign blank checks. I did the first month,
You're brand
because
new,
what we always do,
right?
right? And
Right.
and by the second month, absolutely not. And that didn't go over well. She would give me some bank statements and tell me just to sign off. And when I inquired as to what I'm balancing against, she couldn't give me an answer. And I said, well, I'm not signing off then until I figure out what I'm signing
Right,
against.
because
So,
you've got your responsibilities
Absolutely.
as clerk to do your job, right?
absolutely, my name's on there. My name is on that financial aspect of the township. So it didn't start out necessarily on the best of feet, but I don't feel like I was given some of the tools that I should have
Right.
had as a new clerk, especially given a township treasurer of 40 plus years. So, in addition, one of the big ones that kind of had caught my eye was when the township settles at the year end of March, there's a settlement with the county, and Patricia works closely with the county for that settlement. And once they're done, I'm dropped on my desk, or the clerk's dropped 8, 10, 12 checks, upwards of $300,000. And she just wanted me to sign. And so that first year when I asked for a statement or some kind of paperwork, it led to quite the dispute, let's just say. I ended up, if you remember correctly, I took it to the board and said, she's got to give me some paperwork on this so I know what I'm signing. And granted, I didn't 100% understand it at the time, but that's kind of what I do is dig into it. So
Right.
that was one of my first flags. And all along I've been saying the treasurer's report's not sufficient for Adams Township. All it is bank statement. It's just an account settlement. So nobody's seeing what's going on in the township. And when I brought that up to her, her answer was that the county was the second set of eyes. And I 100%, it's not me just disagreeing, it's how government is set up. The county is not the second set of eyes on the finances of Adams
Right.
Township. It is the clerk and the rest of the board. The rest of the board has an obligation to understand that. So that's just a few of the things that I went through as clerk until they finally lawfully removed me.
And when you say lawfully remove, you had an issue before that you were removed, but it wasn't lawful. Do you want to just
Correct.
explain that at least a little bit?
Well, like we had talked about, it was a Bureau of Elections coming in and deciding who should stay in as clerk for merely asking questions.
Right.
And they theoretically removed me via directive, and Hillsdale County Clerk's Office came in and they enforced it, and lawfully they did not have the right.
And I would like to elaborate more on that in a future video.
I think on a future video, I'd be very happy to talk about that and what was the laws that were broken on that and kind of the status of where that situation is. But for today's purposes, I wanted to bring to the township's attention kind of some things going on behind the scenes. So this is the reason why I'm out now. Now I have to revert to FOIA, which stands for Freedom of Information Act. That's laws put in place across the United States to promote transparency, accountability in government, and basically it gives us the right to FOIA for information.
Right. Many states have these. There's federal FOIA laws, and then we have our specific state FOIA laws. Yes.
It's pretty detailed law, and going through this last month or so, I've gotten much more familiar with it than I was a year ago. But it's got its guidelines. There's certain information that can't be given out, personal information. There's limits on how much they can charge. There's time frames on when they have to respond. So, getting my feet wet, I decided to pursue a FOIA on some of the things that I thought were hidden from me as clerk. So, what I wanted to do was read for you and for the township what I FOIA'd for. So I sent an email to the new clerk, Susie Roberts, on August 25th of this last year, so a month and a half ago, FOIAing for the following. Number one, the daily cash journal report from the treasurer's BSNA software. I'll talk about that in a minute. From the treasurer's BSNA software that reflects the itemized property tax payments for the year ends 2010 through to 2022. So BSNA is the software that Patricia uses to do the property taxes. It's got property tax IDs, when payments are received, all that kind of stuff. And as clerk, I received not monthly, it would be almost a daily statement along with any deposits she was making. So I could verify that the deposits matched what she said or what she credited people in the account. So that's the BSNA software that I'm referencing. The second portion of this FOIA was a copy of the bank statements for the Adams Township tax account from April 1st, 2009 through March 31st, 2022. And it's odd dates because it's the fiscal year end for the township. So it's just easy break points, and the bank's set up to do it that way. So in my opinion, this is a very easy FOIA to fulfill. There's software that's in a system, and I think I mentioned to you, my background is in databases, document control, information management, that sort of type of thing. So where other people volunteer for firefighting and, or police or paramedics, my background's in the databases, and that's part of the reason why I came in as clerk.
So not only do you have training to this may be your niche, your expertise.
Yeah,
some people are better at certain things.
So after sending this, I received the proper acknowledgement and a 10-day extension, which she's able to do, and the insinuation that she'd let me know what fees she was going to charge me. Before even getting the true response back, the actual response to the FOIA, I did some homework, and I went out online and looked at BSNA software and found some instructions on how to run reports or what reports are available, and I printed that off and got that over to Susie Robertson just because it would make it easier. I know she's not experienced in BSNA, I don't think.
And I have to commend you because I think you're a little more forgiving than I am after the nasty recall that was done on the both of us. But go on.
I just want the information. So and also mention, I believe all the other townships in Hillsdale County use BSNA. I know the county uses BSNA. There's no reason why this report is anything extreme by any means. So I forwarded that on. In regards to bank statements, I made sure she knew that it's as easy as calling the bank to get the bank statements. I had to deal with Vicki Bowers, but I had to go out and get bank statements from Southern Michigan Bank, from Vicki Bowers on multiple occasions because one, Patricia stopped providing bank statements to me as clerk to sign off on, and two, when it came time for the audit, they needed the full year of bank statements and also in electronic format.
Just real quick on that, if Pat's not giving you the information, is that not what's the word I want?
Ethical violation?
Well, yeah, a breach of her fiduciary responsibility.
Yes,
that's what I was searching for.
We were going through a lot of things though, so I had to pick my battles at the time. But yes, absolutely. The clerk and the treasurer need to work like this in a township. There's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of communication that's needed. So
they're probably the two officers that work the most together. The supervisor works both with the clerk and the treasurer on various items. And then they all should work together as a team to fulfilling what needs done in the township.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean that they're going to vote the same all the time. They may have different opinions, but yes, the clerk and the treasurer do need to work and have a decent relationship for what they need to get done.
Right. But I wanted to help Susie out and let her know it's as easy as calling the bank. On my occasions, I would call up Vicki and she'd say, what dates do you need? Do you need the images of the checks? Boom. 20 minutes, I would have those emailed to me via a secure email address or email account, and pull them down. They're electronic format. That's all I need, right? So I provided that to Susie so she knew, and I did that about 2 days after this one went out, just because I was curious about the reports in BSNA. So when I received the formal response to the FOIA, to this FOIA request, and it was within the time frame, within the 10 days, 10-day extension and everything. I don't have any issue with that. One of the requirements when a FOIA is fulfilled, if there is going to be a cost, they have to provide a detailed cost itemization, and that's what I have here in front of me. But I have to say, I about fell off my chair, because for what would be two very easy pieces of information and should be very easily available to anyone who asks, I got a cost itemization of $1,263. $1,263.
And how's the average citizen supposed to come up with
Oh,
that for
yes.
information that you have a right to have?
Yes.
So,
A little
do you think they're
discouraging.
stonewalling you?
Yes.
Do you think they're,
Yes.
they've just voted to put in about $50,000 more in software and computer systems
Well,
and computers? Do they not know how to use
And
these?
that we should let people know. Susie was one to push through new BS&A software for the
Mhm.
clerk side, and then it can talk to the treasurer side. $40,000 plus to write maybe 30, 35 checks a month. I mean, we looked at it when we were in,
Yes,
and you guys did take my advice. We don't need it for what little the clerk side does
because
from
the
that
cost was
side.
substantial,
Yeah.
and we were fiscally
We don't have fire
responsible.
departments or police departments or a lot of crazy stuff. It's just some property taxes on houses coming in.
Along
But
along that line, as I recall, Ms. Williams, as treasurer, kind of fought against a
Yeah,
system
she did.
that you guys would coordinate
Correct.
better.
she
And
did.
yet now that they have somebody different in the office,
Yeah.
she's all gung ho for it.
Yeah. But I guess what's surprising, and then plus all the new computers for everybody in the office and iPads and stuff. So for someone who was really pushing for technology, I get that we're getting ahead of ourselves, because these fees are crazy if one
Right.
actually is going to use
Back
that
to the
technology.
topic at hand.
Back to the topic at hand. So to look at this itemization that I received from her, one of the first things so she did it in two parts. One is for the BS&A software property tax reports, and one's for the bank accounts. What initially caught my eye was the hourly wage charged of $20 an hour.
Wow.
I didn't make $20 an hour working there. I know you didn't, because I wrote out your check. But so everybody knows, the most that a FOIA can charge is the hourly wage of the lowest paid employee
Mm-hmm.
that can actually fulfill the FOIA.
Right.
So again, where that number comes from, completely arbitrary, and it
I would suggest maybe her sister, that she had in cleaning up files that were such a mess. Maybe she
but-
could do that cheaper.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But here's the part that's crazy. So it's broken down. There's different areas where you can break it down. So the first one is the labor cost for copying and duplication. So this is the actual copying and duplicating of the BS&A software. Well, number one, those annual reports, to my knowledge, unless the county got them, those aren't something that were printed off. So there's going to be no finding them in any paper hard copy. It's going to the computer and printing it off.
Right.
So that $20 she's expecting, or was expecting, 13 hours to do.
Goodness.
13 hours at $20 an hour. So that's $260. Next item she can charge for is the labor cost to locate. So this is looking for them, $20 an hour, and it was going to take her 6.5 hours to find them. Computers in the treasurer's office, not hard. And then she can charge for the sheets of paper, basically the copy or duplication cost at 10 cents a sheet, and was going to charge $13 there. So just for the BS&A software is $403. The second portion are the bank statements, and that's an hourly charge of $30 an hour. This,
Goodness.
I don't know if she's taken that from bank people. I would be surprised also. They're making that much, but
I've heard of inflation, but that sounds ridiculous.
yes, it is. I think it's arbitrary is the part that bothers me. So for that, labor cost to locate, charging 2 hours for that. Again, that's a phone call to the banker. And then the other part she's charging is for the copying and duplication. So she wants to charge me $5 to print off 156 monthly statements. I was very clear, and you can, by FOIA law, dictate what format you want it in, which obviously I want electronic. So the concept of $5 for 156 statements totaling $780 is extreme, when that is easily emailable,
Right.
easily, because I did it multiple times with Southern Michigan Bank. So that part was extremely intriguing to me. The dollar amount and how many hours she's expecting to do something. I'd just like to say, for the record, if I were clerk,
Mm-hmm.
I could fulfill this FOIA probably in less than an hour, and I wouldn't charge a thing, because it would be emailed out. Those
Right.
reports would be emailed out. I'd make sure it was secure, but there is no way that's a $1,263 FOIA.
This being the case, if they continue with these sort of trying to charge this much money, it would discourage anyone from applying for a FOIA
Absolutely.
for fear of what they may ask
Absolutely. And it's going on around the state. Because I'm still involved in a lot of election groups and issues, and we got a lot of good things going, but that's another, but we're coming across the same thing. As you get closer to something, they charge a crazy amount and make it almost unfeasible to actually do it, to actually accomplish it.
One of the things these folks said when they ran for office is, we're going to be for the people. Well, if you're charging these kind of dollar amounts for FOIAs when it's not necessary, that's not for the people.
That's right.
So what else did you have there?
Well, I would actually suggest we end this segment, and then I'll come back and share with you and everyone else the next step after having received this on the, I forget what date it was, towards the end of August, early September. So
we're glad you joined us tonight. We hope you'll pay attention for these videos. We intend on making more follow-ups to these. We don't want to make them so long that they're discouraging to watch. So stay tuned, and we'll talk to you soon.